Attention DIY plumber. Attention DIY plumber. Put the wrench down, step away from the sink. Do not reach for the flex fitting. No one has to get hurt. Put your hands on your head, step away from the plumbing fixtures.
Well, hello YouTube. Thank you for visiting my channel. Today's video is about plumbing, which seems to be a popular topic around here. You know, when you run your sink, your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink, and you hear the water splashing underneath the counter, that's not a good sign. And that's what I encountered this week. I took a look under the sink, and this is what I found. The stainless steel pipe that has apparently been in place for many years has given up the ghost. Taking a little closer look under the sink, the only real damage that I see is that the drain tube has completely disintegrated from rust or wear and tear, just dissolved. And the P-trap at the P-trap at the bottom of the pipe drain was so nasty that it seemed like it needed to be replaced as well. I mean, it technically could have been left, but if you're taking things apart, sometimes it feels better to go ahead and put some clean new parts in, and that'll save you other headaches down the road. If you've been to almost any kind of store in 2022, you know that shipping and distribution has become something of an issue. And that was one of the first problems I ran into. You always run into lots of problems when you're doing plumbing repairs. But the first one was that two different plumbing supply houses did not have the pieces that I needed, the down tube and the P-trap, in the correct size and length that I required. They're just not in stock. That's the nature of 2022 and distribution problems in the wake of that beer virus. So always a problem. So what can you do? You have to make do. This is where plumbing becomes a creative endeavor. And let me warn you to learn from my experience. When you go to the plumbing store and you think you know what you're doing, pay attention anyway. Naturally, I picked up a piece, picked up the down tube to replace the corroded one. I picked up a new one, or at least I thought I did. What I actually picked up was an extension tube. And an extension tube is used in cases where you need to extend the down tube that's already there. And that's not what I needed. I needed a new down tube. And as you can see, this won't work for a new down tube. It's designed to have another down tube slide into the top of it and extend the one you have. So pay attention to the details. That was my second trip to the plumbing store to get parts that I needed. All right, back to the main problem, and that is I have to find some parts to be able to make do to fix this drain issue because the parts I need aren't available. And in looking for parts that might work, I found a flexible P-trap. I'm aware that the flexible P-trap have a reputation, especially among professional plumbers. They consider those handyman specials or things for people who don't know how to do the job right. Well, in this case, it's all that's available to me, so I'm going to use it, and we'll look into some of the reasons for the bad reputation for these flexible plumbing tools a little bit later in the video. Reassembly of the sink drain pieces could not be simpler. I started with the down tube, just simply screwing it onto the strainer in the sink basin. I did not use a wrench. If you have good hand strength, I don't think it's necessary with PVC pipes. Snug it up good and tight, German standard, guten tight, with the hands. And if you have weak hands or if you feel like you need to give it a quarter turn with a pair of pliers, that's okay too. Well, next I went ahead and aligned the flexible portion of the P-trap with the downcomer, and I did not put the washer on here at first. I wanted to see Just out of curiosity, the ridges in this flexible pipe can cause a hindrance to the water flow. And I wanted to see if just running water through the pipe, if it had any sort of backup that was perceptible because of those flexible sections. Really, just for my curiosity. If you're doing this, you'd want to go ahead and put the washer on there at this point, and then tighten it down good and snug. But I wanted to see, by running some water through this pipe without a washer, would anything back out of the pipe? And it didn't. I'm not going to show you that because it's a pretty boring video. Nothing came back. I poured a complete. I saved a complete sink full of water, and then let it all go at once, and no backflow at all. So I'm confident that the flexible portion of the P-trap does not cause an undue problem in drainage. More on that in a minute. And just for those who need any additional video guidance, I'm going to go ahead and show how I put the washer in. And just for anybody who needs the video guidance, I'm going to go ahead and show the clip of putting the washer in. Like I said, I had left it out to do a little test, but when you're installing this yourself, you want to put that washer in under the nut and push it down into the P-trap, and then tighten it up. And don't forget to do that, because that will keep your connection from leaking. Okay, after everything was buttoned back up and the washers and nuts were all in place and tight, I ran some water through the sink, filled a sink full of water, ran it through, made sure that nothing leaked, everything was watertight, worked as expected. No longer dumping into the cabinet, so that's a success. That's a good fix for this video. Now let's talk a little bit about are flexible P-traps and flexible fittings like that, are they illegal? You know, I had a little clip at the beginning of this video showing the cops coming and trying to get the lawbreaker out of the house. So much for my acting, I know, but it's not illegal, okay? It's not illegal. The cops are not going to come and take you away if you use flexible fittings. What they're trying to avoid, though, the plumbing industry is trying to avoid, is do-it-yourselfers who do a poor job that can lead to problems down the road. And I did a quick search on the internet, and here's a few examples of people using flexible P-traps and flexible connectors in a way that probably is not wise. As you can see, it's easy to doofer a solution with these flexible fittings. It may not be the best, let's just put it that way. And you want your plumbing fixes to be as reliable and as close to code as possible, even if you're not a professional plumber. So let's take a look at the actual plumbing code that describes what makes this illegal, or against code, we should say, because it's not illegal. It just doesn't match up to code. I looked at various places to see what the plumbing code is. And of course, plumbing code varies by state and by city. So you'd have to look at yours to see what specifically applies to you. But most of the plumbing codes that the states use are derived from the National Plumbing Code, which is a standard set by a trade organization. And that's the case here. The state of Tennessee, where I am, has derived their codes from the National Plumbing Code. Yours will probably be similar. Some of the wording may vary, but this generally applies to all 50 states. Fixture traps shall be self-scouring. Fixture traps shall not have interior partitions except where such traps are integral with the fixture and where such traps are constructed of an approved material that is resistant to corrosion and degradation. Two of those criteria must be self-scouring, meaning that when water flows over it, it must keep it clean. It seems like that might be a problem for these flexible pipes, and must have no interior partitions. And I would say that the flexible portion of that pipe does form partitions. So you're very likely to run into a code violation should somebody be looking for that kind of thing. So what am I going to do? Well, for right now, there's nothing else available. So my choices are let the water drain into the cabinet, not use the sink, or be a criminal with my code violation and use the flexible P-trap. For now, I'm going to use the flexible P-trap. The risk that I have determined from that is very low. If your house is being inspected for sale or for a new home for code, it might not pass. If you had a problem, if you had a flood of some kind that was tracked back to that drain pipe, which seems very unlikely, but it's possible that the insurance company could say, we're going to deny your claim because you used flex fittings and those are not to code. I don't see that as a big risk. That being said, when this shipping crisis is over and plumbing parts are more readily available again, I will at some point pull that P-trap out and put a non-flex fitting in, just because it is likely, it seems to me it's likely that food particles and gunk is going to collect in that flexible section, and it may give you a slow drain, or it may even lead to a clogged sink. So it's not a big deal. It's certainly not anything to be concerned about right now when I can't get anything better, but in the future I will replace it just to be legal with code. All right, well, that wraps up my latest plumbing video. It seems like I have more plumbing problems than anything else lately. I do appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing. If you liked the video or if you found it helpful, I do hope you'll give it a like. That helps YouTube know that the video might be useful to other people, and it's a favor to me. So thank you very much for that. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. If you're looking for other how-to videos, I've got a bunch of them on the channel and making more all the time. Love to have you as a channel subscriber or a member. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.